Hi friends, it's Cassandra here with you today from Sassy Cassy. So for those of you who don't know, I live in California, and a couple days ago our governor issued a stay-at-home order, which means that even more than before, we have to stay at home and limit our leaving the house as much as possible. So I just felt the need to do something so I don't go a little bit stir crazy. And I don't know, I saw this opportunity pop up. Our governor actually put a call for help out, and I've seen a lot of things floating around on Facebook asking to make masks for nurses. Apparently they are short, they're short on masks because everybody's hoarding them. So people are making masks to help these nurses. So the idea, obviously these masks don't come with like the special filters and everything, but the nurses may have those already. And so the idea, this is just a dust mask, it's not the real mask, but you could, just to give you an idea. So the idea is just to have their regular mask and then to make a mask like to go over it. Hopefully you can hear me. But so it's just adding another barrier, another layer in between. They're able to change these masks out like more frequently and wash them and prevent contamination onto their filter masks that they now have to use for several wears, whereas before they would change them frequently, but they're only being issued like one mask. I don't know if it's like per shift or whatever, but they're in short supply, so they're having to reuse it, and that puts them at higher risk of contaminating this mask. So anyway, that's kind of just a rundown of what we're doing. So we're going to be making masks. I plan on working on a bunch of these this week with my kids. So it kind of gets them involved in a good cause where they can help. And I think that's always a good lesson for kids. And I know that some of my sewing students were wanting to know how to do this, so I'm excited to be able to still teach them in some small way, even though we're not together. They can watch this tutorial and learn how to do these masks. So the first thing you're going to need is two rectangles of fabric, size 6 by 9. I actually did 3 because I want to add just one more layer. It gets a little bit thick, but you can do it with just 2. I'm just doing an extra one. So if you don't want to do the extra one, then just do two rectangles of fabric. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take 1 rectangle of fabric. You need 2 pieces of elastic cut to 7 inches, and any size really will work. This is a 1/4 inch. You could use 3/8 inch. That would be fine too. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your elastic into the corner of your rectangle, and you're going to bring it around to the other side, just like this. Sorry, kind of hard to do that. Okay, so we're just going to pin these down into the corners, and then we are going to bring this over to our machine, and we're going to baste down the elastic straps. So we'll come over here to our machine. I'm just going to sew it across like this. And I did a back stitch. My girls always ask me, do I back stitch? Mrs. Jones, do I back stitch? Always back stitch. I tell them if you don't want it to come out, then give it a back stitch. Okay. Okay. Now we're just going to take our other rectangle of fabric and put it on top. And if you're doing a lining piece, then go ahead and put that lining piece on top of your other fabric. And notice it's right sides together. We always do it right sides together. And I'm just going to put a couple pins in here just to hold it in place while we sew it down. Okay, so now we're going to bring it up here. I'm going to use a 3/8 inch seam allowance. If you're more comfortable with a 1/2 inch, that would work too. We're going to bring it down here, and we're going to just start kind of in the middle of the long rectangle side, and I'm going to back stitch. And we're going to go all the way around, pivoting at the corners. Now we have an opening to flip our mask. So you're going to come through, if I can get in there, the 2 right side pieces. I did my opening a little bit small. Okay, so it's all flipped to the right side. If you want, you can take it over to your iron. I did because I'm a perfectionist, but if you don't have time, then don't worry about it. We're going to take this over and just stitch our opening closed. Okay. Now this step is important. This step we are going to add pleats in on the side. So I'm going to bring this first pleat in here. And then we'll bring, and I don't really have a measurement for you. Just kind of do what feels natural, I guess. You know what I mean? We're just bringing the pleats. I might readjust this to make them a little bit more even. But you're just basically putting in pleats. You're bringing one pleat up to the next pleat. And this kind of helps it so that it can go around the mask. And then you're going to pleat the other side, and you want your pleats to keep going in the same direction. We're going in that direction, so we want to bring this pleat up in the same direction on the other side. Oops, careful not to stab yourself. And one last one here. And now we'll just bring it over to the machine and stitch it down. Take out your pins as you go. And that's all there is to it. The mask is done. The elastic just goes behind the ears like this. Or if you want to see what it's like with the mask on, that part goes over there. And there you go. So now you've seen how easy it is to make these. It takes like 5 minutes really if everything's already cut out. And so I hope that this tutorial was helpful for you. If it was, then feel free to share it so that other people can know how to do this also. And if you have any questions, then feel free to just drop them in the comments or send me a message, and I'd be happy to help. So happy sewing, and I hope everybody stays safe and can help out wherever you can.